Welcome to another episode of Beyond Four Walls, where I explore the fascinating stories and experiences of individuals who are shaping industries and making impactful changes in their communities. Today, I have the pleasure of speaking with Jeff Tucker, a seasoned contractor with a wealth of experience in property development and management. Jeff is also the founder of Best Mates, a charity dedicated to supporting mental health awareness and creating community connections. I'm excited to delve into Jeff's journey, his professional insights, and the transformative work he's doing with Best Mates. Welcome, Jeff. Lovely to have you.
Hello, how are you? All right?
I'm good, thank you. So just to start, can you tell me a bit about your journey into the property industry? What sparked your interest in becoming a contractor? Go for it.
Where did it come from? Why did we do it? And
Absolutely. And how are you
certainly.
doing with it?
Yeah, well, it's all right. It's a good journey. I mean, I joined the TRAK group back in October 2010. Well, my background's actually in print and sales. So I've been in recruitment, been in print sales, and it gives you the reason why is I was actually in talking to the guys that owned TRAK Employment at the time, and they had a facilities management business called TRAK. They asked me to join them on the sales side to help develop TRAK as a facilities management cleaning company effectively. So I joined back in 2010, and effectively I was doing 4 days a week. Were out working with TRAK, and we dealt with like the MacArthur Glens shopping centres across the country. At the time, the Peel Group, which was down in Gloucester Keys and so on, where we run teams which just basically did all the maintenance and cleaning for the sites, ready for obviously when the shoppers go onto site and so on. And that led to sort of writing lots of tenders and getting involved in all sorts of things alongside, down the facilities management route. And as time went on, basically that part of the business was sold up because one of the owners decided to move on. And a few years later, myself and Carl decided that we always wanted to have that man in the van dotting around town looking after people's properties, the handyman that everybody wants, doing all those little jobs which we all struggle to cover off now. So we did that. We set that up 2017, and that kind of then led us into having a team. We had a team about 3 people with 4 or 5 cleaners on board, and we were dotting around town, like I said, cleaning HMOs, communal areas, looking after people's properties, jet washing, you name it, just all those daily things that people need to, maintain their properties and keep them in the best condition they possibly could. So that started. Then COVID come and got us. We had a few commercial offices that we were cleaning as well, and COVID really got those. They they just finished because obviously nobody was going into work and so on. And now we sort of developed that where we're doing more refurb work and getting involved in, chunkier project work rather than the cleaning side of things. So it's kind of developed and evolved over the last couple of years of the kind of work we want to take on and what we're doing. But it's an interesting world to work in. It's fun. It's hard work. Yeah,
Yeah.
as you'll know, it certainly gives you challenges, but it's one of those things that I think is quite rewarding as well. When because you're gonna give a final product back to an owner or so on. So it's quite a rewarding thing. So that's kind of where we are. That's where we got to it, and obviously that attaches on to the other things I do, which is the recruitment side of things and Best Mates, of course. So yes, it's been a little journey. So this October, I've been here 14 years. So
Wow.
Time's moving on.
They can't get rid of you. That's what it is. You're too good.
Love it, mate. That's why.
So thinking about the projects and everything that you've done, is there anything that stands out to you about what's the most rewarding or something that you've done that someone's just been really pleased about?
We did a project late last year. Late last year, moved into the beginning of this year as well, where a good friend of ours, actually, his father passed away. His mum and dad had split up, but his mum was coming back to move into the property. So he gave us a call because he just didn't know what to do because the house had got itself into a bit of disrepair. So he called us in to say, look, I need the place completely stripping out. The back garden was completely overgrown. It just got to that point where it needed somebody to go in to strip it out, give it a bit of a refurb, a lick of paint, tidy it up, put new flooring in, and just literally get it back and put the life back into it. Because you all know as well as I do, if you leave a property for a few months, before you know it, the place, they just fall apart. You know, it's amazing when you take a human being away from a property, what actually
Yeah.
happens. So the nice thing was, we went into this place, we literally did a complete clearance, and we're talking probably 5 or 6 truckloads of just your furniture, beds, wardrobes. The garden was full of old tools, sheds, and all sorts of stuff. So we literally stripped it all out. It took us about 6 weeks all in. And then we got back into the place, we decorated it, we put new wooden flooring all through the house, tidied up the kitchen for her, sorted the bedrooms out, and so on. And it was really nice because I met her on day one in the house when it was literally the state it was in.
Hmm.
And then I didn't see her until we gave her the keys back right at the end of the project. To see her face when she walked back in, I mean, she was in tears with joy, because
Oh,
she'd moved back in and she had this house. Obviously, she'd split up from her husband, so there was a story there as well. It was just one of those, she just walked through the door, and the tears were. She was just so happy with what we'd done with the place. It was just like quite a proud moment, and you're like, you've done something there that's really, really made her happy. And to this day, I pass her house quite a lot because I do some networking out near there. And quite happily knock on the door and just pop in and have a cup of tea with her, just for
oh,
catch.
nice.
It's just
Yeah.
one of those, you do something, you build a good relationship with good people and do good work, and it's amazing, because
Yeah.
yeah, you've made a difference to somebody's life.
Absolutely. I mean, I think that's what it's all about, isn't it? This is, you're working on somebody's home. This is where they need to feel safe and secure. And I'm not surprised if, she saw it in such a state and then
You
you
know,
changed it so much for her.
it's that, when you're actually in it. I say this quite a lot for the other things we're doing. You get so involved in what you're actually doing, you rarely sit back and actually take note of, well, actually, look, just take a look at that project alone, and
Mm,
understand what you've done for somebody, and you just
yeah.
take it for granted, really, when you've got your head into these things. And yeah, just a really nice thing to sort of fall back on. And I wouldn't say she's become a friend, but like somebody that you've
Hmm.
got a relationship. And I see George all the time. And so, how's your mum? And chat about her, and so on. So yeah, really good.
Yeah. Brilliant. That's lovely. And I guess the flip side of that, challenges. How do you approach challenges when managing property maintenance?
Just shut your eyes and dive in. No, I'm joking. I'm
Say
joking.
yes and panic later.
Yes, yeah, exactly that. Well, again, it's how do you approach challenges? I think that every project, it doesn't matter what it is, when you're in the property sector and you're working for people and you're trying to deliver something back to them, you've got every project, doesn't matter what it is a challenge. It's you've got to find a solution, and you've got to get to that end point, like I've just said there, where you're handing something back at the level that's expected. So I think I look at every job that way, and it's thinking about what needs to be done. It's thinking about what could go wrong. It's understanding those areas that, it rarely runs to 100% to plan. You can do the best in the world to say, right, it's going to work this way. But there are times when you have to make that call to the owner, the landlord, whoever it might be, and say, look, we've started this work and we've come across gas pipes or whatever that might be, or,
Hmm.
or something that puts potentially an expensive hurdle into place. And I think the key there is relationship. The key there is communication. I'm not afraid to tell it as it is, because I think I'm one of those people that you need to know what's what so you can make the decision to move on. Otherwise, you're all running around in circles and getting nowhere. So challenges, I just look at the whole thing as a challenge, but with a positive mindset to it. And I think that sort of carries you through if it does go a little bit, wayward,
Yeah.
so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely. So you shared a really memorable experience about, handing the keys back to somebody who was so happy, but is there anything that taught you an important lesson?
Yeah. There's always lessons in this world. Yes, we had a great one. So we were doing a refurb on a house for a lady. She didn't live in Swindon. She had a house, local house, and she called us in to do some work. We priced it up, put the quote forward, got accepted to do the work. And this is an 8-week project. We'd cracked on and we were working away on it. I think it went over a little bit from the deadline. And what actually happened was, we had a conversation on a Friday, and she was coming to Swindon, which is fine, come to see how the house was. Now, in her head, she was coming down to do a snagging list. to make sure she was comfortable and we covered everything off. So she'd had it in her head that we'd finished the job. So she come down on a Saturday and a Sunday, and then we come into work on a Monday and we hadn't finished. We hadn't even told her we'd finished. To a great big list from an angry homeowner that thought
Mm.
we'd finished her house, and she's walks in on the Saturday, and I'm not being funny, you can see the walls haven't been painted and finished. The communication was I'd assumed and she'd assumed, and by both assuming, it went proper wrong.
Yeah.
Uh, and I think that point there was a couple of things is, don't let anybody come in to do a snagging list until you've told them it's done.
Mm.
And also be there when that said snagging list is being created, because at least you can answer those questions and sort those things out. I mean, everything ended up being all right in the end, but it was just one of those points where you put a lot of work into something, but the miscommunication meant you just had that little bit of a stressful time, and
Mm.
nobody really wants it. But it happened. We learned from it, and now I won't let anybody into a property unless I'm there to finalize it. To be able to go around with a tooth comb, because we live in that world. Sometimes you don't see it. Like when I said earlier, when you're on a job, when a fresh set of eyes comes in, you might walk past something 15, 20 times and just not even realize. And sometimes you just need that thing to that set of eyes to sort of freshen up and just make sure it's finished.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it was clearly a simple misunderstanding, which I'm sure was resolved very
Yeah, yeah.
quickly. And I think how you resolve those things quickly is, as you say, with better communication, holding your hands up and saying, you know what, I misunderstood your
Yeah.
requirements or whatever, and the other person also taking some responsibility as well for how they approached it. Did she tell you she was coming, and did she tell you why she was coming, and all of that kind of thing? So don't take all the blame on yourself.
No, it
But
was a good conversation. We sorted it out. You just sometimes you just have to put your big boy pants on and go and just have a conversation and put it right.
yeah,
What I'm like. I'm quite comfortable to just sit down and chat. I'd never go out of my way to do anything wrong. And
no, exactly.
it's just, let's have a conversation, let's resolve it and get it right. And we did. And you take that. When you care about what you're doing, you care about how the other person's feeling, and you don't ever
Yeah.
want to put anybody under that sort of pressure. So
Mm.
yeah, communication again is just, you just take that and roll with it and learn from those experiences, and it just makes you a bit better for what you're doing for the next project, effectively.
Yeah, absolutely. So, do you have any priority around sustainability in the projects that you do?
We do. I mean, it's a key thing, and it's something that we all need to be aware of and look at in any job. I mean, anything we look at when we're talking with a client, any project, we've got a project which we're just about to take on board, which is, it's only going to be moving a door frame. So you've got a utility room with a door on the inside, and there's like a hat like an opening. If we move the door frame, it just gives a bigger utility, bit of a bigger working space. The doors throughout the house are all old, kind of an oak veneered door throughout the whole house, and you can't match them. So we're going to reuse, obviously, the doors and all the parts from it. We don't need to put new door linings in and stuff. And I think the key there is looking for those characteristics in the buildings. If you can reuse them, you go so many places where they've got old fireplaces and stuff, and people are like, yeah, board that over, I don't want to see that. But it actually, you can talk about those things and you can start reuse them and actually
Hmm.
make quite nice the things out of them, effectively.
Mm.
And I think that's the approach to it. Do you really need to rip all that out? Can you reuse it? Can we work that somewhere else? That's kind of the approach on anything when it comes to any of the work we do, really. We
Yeah.
also did somebody wanted a patio relaying. So we actually used the same slabs. We cleaned the patio slabs up, relayed a new patio, but used the same slabs rather than going out and spending a fortune on new ones, and did just the same job as it would have
Yeah.
done if we'd have spent on the other things. So it's always the forefront of everything you do, really.
Yeah, definitely. But I mean, before we get on to best mates,
Mm.
what advice would you give someone looking to start a career in property maintenance, contracting, starting their own business, and any advice you can throw out there?
I I think the world we're in, there's a need for us. There's a need for more. There isn't enough. You can never get hold of a plumber. You can never get hold of a chippy. It's very hard to, if you want something done quickly, it's a difficult thing these days. So there's room for people to come into this world. and there's money to be made out of it. There are customers out there that you'll pick up. So I think if you're keen on doing it and you've got the skills to be able to, then you'll excel in it. There's, you just got to find the right people to work with, talk to, make sure you deliver the right level of service. I think that's the key thing. And the biggest thing I would say is just be straight, just be upfront. One of the biggest frustrations that we hear from property owners and stuff is, oh, the plumber didn't turn up this morning, the handyman didn't turn up. And if you're not prepared to make that call and give that level of service, then you're not going to last very long. You know, we do work in a very, very busy world, and we get people calling. I mean, this morning, I've come in this morning, a couple of emails have landed expecting me to just go and do a couple of jobs on Monday and Tuesday next week. And I'm, hang on, how do you expect me to do that? So, but it's the communication, you're going back, how urgent really is it? And then you get it
Yeah.
booked in. So I think the answer is do it. Don't hold back. Get involved. There's
Mm.
plenty out there, and if you're good at what you do, you'll do really well.
Now on
Mm.
to I think your favorite bit. Let's talk about best mates. How did that come about? What inspired you to start it?
There's a good question. We're gonna get the
Hmm.
story now.
I want the
So
story.
you want the story?
I
So
do.
so back in 2020, my son left school, 16 years old. He basically had a call from a friend, went round to see a mate of his, and on the way to go and see that mate, he got set up on by six lads, beaten up, hit over the head with a hockey stick, split his head open, and then found scars on his body for the attempted stabbing as well, which was absolutely horrific. He's okay now. But moving on from that, a couple of months later, myself and my wife Jane, we found a note in his room, where he'd had a date that he wanted to take his own life. Now, as a dad, um, alpha male dad, trying to do the right things, trying to say the right things, not understanding, not really having that mental health thing about me at the time. I was saying all the wrong things. I was doing all the wrong things. Every time we spoke, it turned into a massive, great big row. We put him through counselling for our medical health at work, and he refused to go on that. And it was just, it was just an absolutely diabolical time in our lives, and we didn't know where to do. So that's what to do. And of course, when you're going through something like that, whether it's this situation or anything where you're sort of struggling, you soon find out that there isn't a lot out there to help you. There's lots of charities, there's lots of people you can go and talk to, but when you're out in that wilderness and I'm talking about me now, not my son, because he's okay. But at that point, I couldn't talk to my wife because I didn't know what to say, and I couldn't deliver what I was trying to get out of me to make things better. It was just apparent that there wasn't anything. I didn't know who to speak to. I didn't know where to go. Didn't know where to turn. Do I go and ring the? I just got myself in such a muddle. So it meant that the recovery and getting better took so long. So moving on from that, we got to the point where Carl, my business partner, he ran the London Marathon. He was going through a state of depression himself. I'd watched him, literally carried him along and pulled him out the gutter sometimes when he was just on his butt. And I just still had this thing in the back of my head that I wanted to create a place where somebody could come along and knock on a door. And if you knocked on that door, like a best mate would open it. And that would be somebody that's experienced exactly what you've been going through. Somebody that not to advise at all, but somebody that could support and guide you to try and get to a better place. So with lots of talking, like I said, Carl ran the marathon, and literally we sat down at night. We're in London. We'd had a few beers, gone out for a curry, having a bit of a laugh, and I just said, "Look, this thing. I've got this concept that I want to put out there, and Best Mates was born from it. So the key is there that if you're going through a troubled time, it doesn't matter what it is, financial, it could be illness, it could be mental health, depression, then what you can do is you can come and knock on our door. And effectively, if you imagine walking up a garden path, knocking on that door and that person opens it, that's exactly what Best Mates is. So we launched in November 22, went live in November 23 with charity status, and now we are helping people all over the place get better. We're putting people to talk to counsellors. We've got people in addiction clinics. We've got people coming. We do walk and talk Wednesdays down at Coat Water in Swindon, which we're going to roll out into different areas. We've just taken a really real negative and turned it into a massive positive. And as you're aware, it's something that is getting bigger and bigger. So
Mm.
yeah, that's where we're at. Best mates.
Yeah. Do you want to tell us a little bit about your cycle ride? Your little tiny trip?
Oh yeah. Yeah, so the problem is when you start a charity up, you get involved in things that you never thought you'd get involved with before. So back in June, we did 15 of us. We all jumped on our bikes and went for a little bike ride from the Tower of London, and we finished under the Eiffel Tower 4 days later, 305 miles. And between us, 15 of us, we raised 30, just under 32 grand. Fantastic.
You couldn't walk for 3 months after, but
No, it was tough. Yeah, it was
yeah,
tough. Yeah, it was one of those things that you take it on, got right up to it, you're thinking this is going to be impossible. I can't see myself doing it. But now I've done it, the friendships you build, because we ended up splitting into sort of groups with sort of levels of fitness and stuff, if you like. There was three of us, me, John, and Ant, and we tended to stick together. And just the three of us, there'd be a day when John was just absolutely done, and we'd have to pull him along, and then I'd be like it, or Ant would be like it. I mean, Ant was getting a puncher every blooming 5 minutes when we were on the last day. I think he had five punches within about 4 hours.
you just wanted
And
to
it's just like,
stop. That's what it was.
yeah, yeah, exactly.
You
Yeah,
just
well, we
wanted a
were happy.
break.
We were perfectly happy with that. Yeah, get another puncher. We can have a sit down for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Um, but the key is the experience out of that and the friendships we built. And when while we're talking about what the best mates thing is, there's a group of lads there that we still got the WhatsApp group going. We still dip in. We still chuck things in there, and we're mates. We built some fantastic relationships out of it. And you come back so proud to have achieved it. It's just bonkers. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's fantastic. Really good.
So you mentioned about, imagine you're walking down the garden path and somebody's going to open that door to you and everything. But are there, specific goals or main goals of Best Mates and how you see it impacting your community?
Local community. I think what we've set to achieve is that I set this charity up because if I help one person today put their life in a more positive direction, then I've set out I've achieved what I've set out to do. It's as simple as that. My key and where we want to go with it is we want to become, the big picture is we want to be national. That's a lot of work to get there, but we're building the teams of mates all the time as we speak. Service providers are coming on as we speak. So I think the big goal is it's to be that place that's, everybody knows that if they're just going through that tough time, they can just knock on that door and they will get a level of help. I mean, that can be a tiny step or it can be a massive leap, but it's being that brand that door gets knocked and we hook you up with those people because it's so powerful. So I'm really excited about what we're going to do. I have to pull myself back because you can't do it all in one go. It's steady wins the race kind of thing. But like I say, we do the walk and talk. We do one of the big things is when we started it, I think we thought people were just going to come knocking on the door left, right, and centre. We're now building measures that help bring those people forward. Walk and talk is one of those where we have people say, I'm interested in coming along. It might take us 4 or 5 weeks of just touching base by a WhatsApp message or a text message each week. You're coming along, and then suddenly they'll join, and then they'll come every week for well, we've got people who've been coming every week since we started. But the key there is while they're talking to us, of course, we're finding out what these issues are and what help they need.
Yeah.
So then we're reaching in and we're going, right, actually, you've made it this far. Now we're going to take you another level of care or whatever it is you need to try and help you. So it's just great. It's just such a positive thing in people's lives that come along. And I just can't wait to see where it goes,
Is there a particular story that has really impacted you or something that you did through the charity that just really sticks in your mind?
A proud moment I'll give you, which is we did the launch party in London. So we decided to launch in London because we've got lots of supporters down that way. We've got a couple of our trustees are down that way. And we thought, well, if we start in London, we start to get the word out in London. It's a good place to be. So we did the launch party. We had Chris Akabusi was our host, which was brilliant because he's hilarious. But we presented, the three of us, we've gone in there and presented what Best Mates was. We had lots of people join us. I think we about 160 people join us. But the proud moment was at the end of the night, a gentleman come over to myself and Carl and he said, boys, I want to make you guys a donation. And we're like, oh, brilliant. No worries. Cool. Well, actually, if you scan that QR code, you can make your donation on there. Quite flippant, really. Wouldn't really thinking much of it. He said, no. He said, I've heard what you guys do. He said, I wanted to come and see, what you're achieving, where you're going and so on. He said, so I want to make you a donation, but that donation is going to be 20 grand.
Wow.
Honestly, tears, I was gone.
Oh,
absolutely. When you've been through something that's just awful, and then you face that, yeah, I'm goose pimply now just talking about it. It's such a wonderful thing that somebody can just turn around and say, "I'm going to give you 20 grand." I'm like, "What are you on about?" you
Yeah,
know. But
yeah.
it was amazing, and it really did. It just it touches people. It catches people's heartstrings and what we're trying to do because it's such a relevant thing, and it's yeah, that's probably one of the proudest moments I've had so far in terms of what people think of what we're doing. It's
Mm.
amazing.
I mean, he wouldn't have given you that if he didn't think you were doing an amazing job, would he?
Exactly.
So yeah,
Yeah.
incredible, incredible. So obviously going down the mental health discussions and everything, how do you actually balance your time then between the property work and your recruitment work and your family and your commitments to best mates and everything else that you do?
So I think the answer is that's carefully.
Yeah, one day at a
I think,
time.
yeah, one day at a time. Yeah, steady, steady. The actual answer is best mates because of what it is now. It works, just runs. There comes times when we put events on and stuff. Yes, it does suck us in, and we do need to make sure things run properly. But myself and Carl have run events in the past, so we're quite comfortable in what we do there. Carl sort of takes the main kind of the admin and running of best mates behind the scenes. You see me a lot more at the front and the face of it. So we've got a good balance there, and it works really, really well. But it runs alongside everything we do. I mentioned being in London. We did a talk to the Mace Group in London. So they're building a lovely skyscraper in London with all the mirrored windows and so on. And we're in the middle of that with 60 site managers doing a
Wow.
talk about mental health and construction industry being the biggest industry for suicide.
Mm.
And it's all, so you can see where that connects in with the property services side. But it just best mates just runs, and it's that thing. It's that's me. I'm best mates just comes out of me, and I will do anything I can to help anybody wherever I see them. And
Mm.
when it comes to recruitment, employee welfare is key. So we're talking to clients which have got warehouses, we've got people working in warehouses, and there's going to be people suffering those areas. So you get to roll the best mates thing out into that when you're doing something that you love so much.
Mm.
It doesn't matter when you're doing it, how much you do for it, because you enjoy yourself, right? So it doesn't burn you out. It doesn't get you tired. You're making a difference. So it sounds like I'm absolutely flat out, and don't get me wrong, I am busy, but the balance is really quite nice because it's
Yeah.
rewarding, and I get
Hmm.
a lot of rewards out of what we do and why we do it, and it makes it worthwhile.
Yeah. And your son must be so incredibly proud of you as
He is,
well.
but he is. He's 20 years old, and at the moment, it's all right, bro.
All right. Flippantly proud then.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Deep,
exactly.
deep
Yeah,
down inside of a
yeah.
20-year-old man.
I we do we have a bit of banter with each other, and he kind of takes the mick and enjoys and laughs, and I'm saying, well, that's only there because of you, mate.
Yeah,
So I think he understands deep down, and
of course he
it's
does.
and that's what it is. Do you know what I mean? And one day he might become involved in it
Mm.
and go from there. But it's just such a wonderful thing to do. I'm not going out this afternoon. I'm going to have a meeting with another charity this afternoon because we've had somebody reach out to us, and their daughter's just found out their daughter's self-harming, and because she's a child, we don't handle that sort of thing. But I'm just going to go and speak to another charity that actually manages that side of stuff, and by the end of today, I should have linked them up, and hopefully they'll be getting the help and
Yeah.
starting that journey. And I said to the guys in the office this morning, I'm going to go and do that, which means I go home on Friday evening to see my family and enjoy the weekend, knowing full well that somebody else is going to start that road to recovery. And
Yeah.
how do you beat that? You can't.
Well, it's just you're giving me goosebumps, Jeff. It's like honestly,
Yeah.
you're getting choking me up here.
Yeah.
Um, but in terms of challenges, I guess, that you might have faced running the charity, that maybe engaging volunteers or supporters for what
Hmm.
you're trying to do. Any struggles there?
I think when you take the decision to start a charity, you've got to give it some considerable thought, considerable commitment to be able to do it.
Hmm.
You know the work it takes for you when you work with a Holly Gazard Trust and so on.
Yeah.
You've got to put a lot in. You've got to understand. You've got to want to do it. You can't just go, I've had enough of that. You can't walk away from it. And I think the challenges you face are, I suppose, the unknown is a big one. You know, in
Yeah.
terms of bringing people into best mates as we call them, that help the people. Yeah, that's a challenge because you've got to try and find people that have been through a tough situation, that have recovered from that situation, and are capable of speaking to people that are going through the same thing without it triggering
Mm.
what they went through. So there's a challenge there. So you've got to step very carefully on that. If you've made that commitment and you know what you're going to want to do and what you're trying to achieve, I just always look at challenges as positives, because if you can come out of those in a better place, then you're just going to go in the right direction. But it's not an easy world. It's not. It's well, number one, it's not easy to get set up. You know that to get set up within a year when we decided to go for it, we had to pull on people left, right, and centre and ask for help. I remember me, Carl, and Ian was sat around the boardroom table, and we're going through the paperwork on the system to get ourselves set up. And I just put on Facebook a little post to say, you know, we're sat here, we're working out the terms and everything for best mates. Looks like it's going to be a long night. 5 minutes later, a solicitor friend of mine who I've known for donkey's years literally messaged me through Messenger, say, Jeff, what are you doing? So I filled him in, said, stop. I said, why? He said, you're never going to get through it. He said, I've got some time. I've set charities up before. He said, let's put a date in the diary for next Tuesday, Wednesday, whatever it was. And he literally come and spent 4 or 5 hours with us and just piled through it. And we got it done. You know, you read some of the articles and you don't even understand what the question is. You're like that, you know.
Yeah.
We were three blokes just sat there staring at the screen going, ugh. But
Mm.
you do have to pull on people and you have to be prepared to ask. But the biggest thing I've learned from doing it is charity to your business head. You know, they are two very, very different parallels. They work very well together. But when you walk into a place and you ask for something when it comes to charity, people throw themselves at you, you know, and you've got to be open enough to say, can I? Please, can
Mm.
I have this? Please, can I have that? And honestly, some of the support we've seen from the people around us, our network and the people I know, they're just awesome. You're getting goose pimples when I'm telling you these little stories, but these things don't happen without all these people that we know, my network, Carl's network, everybody we know in business, every single person that we know will play a part, whether it's just sharing a Facebook post, but it plays a part to achieve that. And it's a fantastic thing to do, but you've got to take it seriously.
Talk to me then about the importance of collaborating, because I'm very much about collaboration over competition. You know, you don't need to be in competition with people. You don't need to be an idiot. You know, it's just let's all just get on. And so the importance of that, not just with your property stuff, but with the obviously the charity as well. You know, how do you feel that that's the most important?
My approach to business and the charity side of things is, like you say, with the collaborating is probably, it's a really big thing. You know, if I do lots of networking, you know, and I can be in a room, there might be another property person in that room, there might be another recruiter in that room, there might be another charity in the room. But my approach to that is, if there is, not to look at that person as if they are competition. I think that's the first place you should go and learn more about what that person does,
Hmm.
because 9 times out of 10, that business might not cover that area of skill. They might not cover that area within their charity or so on. So I think it's really key to be that open-minded to what people are there for. You know, Best Mates does what it does, but I'm not a charity. You know, where when you come and knock on our door, we are more about signposting you and making sure you get that help. So I need to collaborate with every service I can get my hands on, because if you knocked on my door tomorrow and I didn't have that, I wouldn't turn you away and say, no, we don't do that. You know, need to go and speak to these. I'd be going, right, bear with me. I'm going to go and speak to somebody. And then once I found that person, I'm then going to hook you up with those people, and I would make those things happen. So you need them people, you
Yeah.
know, and in business, one of my networking events, I'm in recruitment. We've got another recruitment in the same group. He's in finance. I'm in industrial commercial. And we pass business to each other. It just works. But if
Yeah.
you go and you've got the wrong angle on it, you
Hmm.
know, you don't get anything from it. So open-minded, collaborate, talk to people, get on board, understand what you've got around you and where you can all help each other. And sometimes you can just work together and you still get that end goal.
So how do you then maintain motivation, I guess, and passion for all of the projects that you've got going on, all of the property, the recruitment, the charity, your home life? How do you just, I know you've said about your positive attitude and your positive mindset, and I get that, but how do you keep the passion for it every day? I mean, Best Mates is different, I guess, because it's about your son.
I mean, yeah, that's a thing. That's I had a dream, had a concept, I turned it into reality, and we're now helping people everywhere. So that just comes with it. But I think I am just that person. If I didn't want to be doing it, I wouldn't be doing it.
Mm,
And if I apply myself and say, right, we're going to get involved in this, then I'll give it everything I can, and that's what motivates me to do it. That's the way I am and the way I'm built. And if you wake up in the morning and you're thinking, oh God, I've got to go and do that today, well, you need to do something about it.
yeah.
You've got to go and find your reason. I mean, sometimes it can get really tough. It can get really hard at times, and we have tough weeks. We have fantastic weeks, but when you're just trying to achieve and your outcome is how you leave somebody feeling, and we change lives in recruitment by getting people into new jobs all the time. We refurb people's houses and we make people smile by putting them into the places they need to be, and it affects them. And then Best Mates, we're changing people's lives by bringing them out of dark places and putting them into a better place. All three, it doesn't matter how you look at it's all the same outcome. And I think that's probably what the thing that keeps me focused on it. I am self-motivated, always have been, and just want to do the best thing I can do for in whatever I'm doing, and
Yeah.
just give it everything I can.
Well, moving on from that then to my next question, which I've scribbled a note down to ask you. What impact do you hope to leave on, not that you're going anywhere or anything like that. I'm sure you've got a few more years in you yet.
Yeah, got a few, yeah, hopefully anyway.
Yeah. Yeah. But I mean, you've done incredible things already. So what impact do you just hope to leave then on both the property industry and the charity work you do?
I think the key thing is in the property sector is to have delivered and maintained a good service level, and just done a good job, and achieved nice good things, good
Hmm.
level of work, and to make sure that the clients are always happy, and that you got a good name in the industry and so on. And I think the impact from Best Mates, which is in the construction industry as well, I think the key there is be remembered or be known as that go-to, that thing that can make a difference. And I think that's it. It's making a difference. Push your communities. With Best Mates, your community it's the responsibility around you of everybody to keep their eyes open. It's such a current topic. Mental health. We're not mental health. We're everything. We work for anybody that's going through a tough time. But mental health is so key right at this moment, and we're in Suicide Prevention Month. It's just such a key thing, and there's people around. We hear stuff all the time, and your community needs to be talking. Your community needs to be looking for, and we need to educate people, and we need to, in 10 years' time, there should be people coming through which are properly educated to understand what's going to start happening.
Mm.
Rather than our generation right now, we don't get it, which is why there's people around us, which are struggling and so on. But education for the younger people, 16-year plus, is so, so, so important. Yeah,
Yeah.
so community is everything. Everybody should get on board and, do what they can and just be open about mental health or whatever it is, and help one another.
Yeah. So where can my listeners learn more about your projects that you're doing, or if they want to get involved with Best Mates, how's the best way to find you?
Okay, so best way for TRAK Property Services is to go to our website, which is www.traksolutions.co.uk. You'll see 3 drop downs on there. So we've got TRAK Professional Executive, TRAK Employment Solutions, and then TRAK Property Services. So select the one you want.
Hmm.
For Best Mates is www.bestmates.org. If you hop on there, it's well worth having a look, because it'll tell you loads of stuff that we're getting involved in. It tells you the story, it gives you a lot more information. But basically, you can reach out to us using the contact@bestmates.org email address. Reach out to us if you know somebody, if you're going through something tough, if you know somebody that needs some help, you just need some advice or to talk to somebody, then reach out to us. We'll hook you up with somebody that can help to guide you, and for a simple email. That's all it
Mm.
is. Simple email. We have an email saying, I need help. I'm going through this. That will press the green button to start you on your road to recovery. And the goal is that anybody that sends that in, is we start that to make that happen,
Yeah.
make it happen. I mean, we use the hashtag all the time, make it happen. And
Mm.
that's key. Let's make it happen, and let's start making people's lives better.
You are an incredible human, Jeff. I think,
Thank you.
I'm going to stop you now because you're going to get me crying. But thank you so much for your time.
You're
I've put
welcome.
all of the links that you just mentioned in the show notes so people can easily click if necessary. So
Wonderful.
thank you again.
You're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for taking the time to listen to my latest podcast. You can find me on LinkedIn and Instagram. The links are in the show notes. Or you can contact me on jodie@jodiefraser.com. For more content and updates, don't forget to subscribe to this podcast on your favourite platforms. Thank you once again for listening. Until next time, take care.